Starting your very first business is very challenging, but you can avoid several mistakes to keep your business afloat and even grow it beyond the first year. Hi, I am Alina Goko, the founder of Soapy Mania. My business exists for over than 5 years. We are selling our products all over the United States. In this video, I'm going to talk about the most common mistakes that new beginner entrepreneurs do when they start their first business. But before we start, please click subscribe button to avoid missing new videos. All right, let's go. Before we start, I need to say that making mistakes is very normal. You should not be afraid of them. You should not be discouraged by making them, because essentially mistakes is a sign that you're doing something, that you're making something, that you're doing your job, that you're making a progress. Because only those who do not do anything don't do mistakes. Most of the people, they're scared of making mistakes. That's why they're scared to start. Don't be those. Because if you want to change your life, you need to step out of your comfort zone and start doing something that you've never done before. And if you've never done something before, how would you know which is the right way, which is the right path? Again, mistakes are normal. Mistakes are great. They're not actually mistakes. You should embrace them. You should welcome them, just because this is a great way of learning something. This is a great way of growing, and this is a great sign that you're doing something. However, at the same time, do you need to do all the mistakes that everyone else has done before? Do you need to know what's under the hood of your car, all the mechanics, all the hydrodynamics, all the electrical stuff to drive it? Do you need to know how your fridge works in order to use it? My point is that mistakes are great, but at the same time, there's so many common mistakes that you can avoid, and you can hire a mentor, or you can follow some kind of successful people that, on your opinion, doing a great job, and you can see what they're saying about the mistakes. Because in this world of YouTube and any other online resources, you can pretty much find anything online. The only problem is you don't know what you don't know. So today I'm gonna state 12 biggest mistakes, most common mistakes that beginner entrepreneurs do, so that you can avoid them. So number one, I kind of talked about it already. It's being afraid to fail. So being afraid to fail is not gonna take you anywhere because you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail at something that you didn't know that you can fail at. You're gonna fail big, but this is a good thing. This is not a failure. This is actually an iteration, another step up. It's the gods or universe telling you how not to do. That doesn't mean that you failed and you're done. That means that, okay, this way didn't work. Let's try another way. That's why being afraid of failing is very common. You can be afraid your entire life, and you're gonna see your life pass, and at the end, you're gonna regret you haven't tried. So that's why just try something. And it's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes. It's just another way of learning something. Mistake number two. It's trying to make everything perfect before you start, before you launch. This was kind of my problem because I'm a perfectionist. I was trying to make everything perfect. Like, okay, once I make my formula perfect, I'm gonna start making it. Once I make my website perfect, I'm gonna launch it. Once I'm gonna figure out how to make the delivery perfect, how to make a perfect box, I'm gonna do it. So guess what? It took me years to start. And then you gotta get yourself comfortable making not perfect steps. You gotta get yourself comfortable living in a non-perfect world. This world is not perfect. You are not perfect, and that's okay. That's good. Your website will never be perfect, to be fair. Never. It doesn't matter how many years you're gonna spend yourself, how many companies you're gonna hire to make it. Something is gonna be off, and you need to make yourself comfortable living with this. You're gonna keep trying, keep iterating, keep updating with time your website, your product, your service, your shipping box. You can do it at the same time, but you need to launch, you need to start, you need to just dive into this world of entrepreneurship. And then you're gonna make everything better and better with time. Okay, Mistake number 3, being disorganized. I am an organized freak, so it's very easy for me to say that just because I like organizing my clothes. I like organizing all my drawers. I like organizing my laptop. My phone is very organized. It's natural for me to organize, but at the same time, if you are disorganized, if everything is somewhere halfway, one document is here, one document is there, and you spend time looking for things, then you waste this time. If you organize everything, first, it's gonna solve the time problem, so you won't spend much time looking for things. Second, you won't miss something, or there's lesser chance that you'll miss something, because you're gonna miss a lot of things, but there's lesser chance if you're gonna be organized. So, okay, this is the paperwork that I need to do to start my business. Here's a list. By the way, I have this checklist on my website. You can download it for free. This is all the formulas, like in my case, I have all the formulas, the folder with all the formulas. Or this is all the paperwork that I need to do in order to apply for a new product or with a new retailer. Try to be organized. And it doesn't matter if you're doing online business, offline business, if you're a manufacturer, if you're doing some kind of consulting job. The more organized you are, the easier it is to manipulate, the easier it is to maneuver. And the most important thing, it is easier to scale, because you would want to scale one day. You don't want to be where you are right now. You want to move on. You want to go. So yeah, being organized is very important. It's core. Mistake number 4. It is not defining your target audience, meaning you don't have an avatar for your targeted customer. So you don't know who you're selling your product or service to. If you don't know these people, you don't know who to sell. And you're gonna waste a lot of money and time on just selling something to someone who doesn't need your product or service. Okay, like a perfect example, there's a family of 5, so it's a mother and father and 3 kids, and you're trying to sell them a small convertible 2-door car. They won't be able to put their car seats in. There is a chance that you can sell them just because probably it's gonna be their 3rd or 4th car, but if they're gonna be main source of transportation, they're not gonna buy a convertible BMW, 2-door BMW, just because that's not in their ballpark. They're not your targeted customer. So that's why you need to know your audience. You need to know who you're selling your product or service to. Number 5, not organizing your legal or accounting right. Meaning that you're not filing for the right legal structure, you do not know what licenses you need to get, you did not do your research on your area of the business, on the nature of your business, like what exactly that you need. Like, do you need LLC? Do you need corp? Do you need like a special agricultural license? Do you need an esthetician license? Every state has their own rules and regulations. So you gotta get this done, and you're gonna get a consultation from an attorney or an accountant to get this information, because this is also very important, and you can lose your business if you didn't do everything right at the beginning, or you're gonna pay a lot of money to fix that later. If you do that part at the beginning, if you hire a one-time consultation with a good attorney and a one-time consultation with a good accountant, that would solve a lot of your problems. Again, I also have a checklist on my website to download like a paperwork, but this is very big and broad. Not every single business would need all of those, or some of the businesses might need even more, but this was like a basic list of most of the businesses should have. Number 6 is trying to do everything yourself. I think I preach that all the time, because yes, you can do everything yourself. Yes, you can learn like all the aspects of the business, but if you want to grow, if you want to become bigger, you've got to get some help. You don't have to hire people right away, but you need to set up some kind of AI assistance, and I have a video about this. You've got to get some kind of outsource assistance, and again, I talked about this on one of my previous videos. It is possible to start very small, and you should start very small, because if you've never done anything before, starting jumping big is very risky and requires a lot of knowledge and a lot of mentorship, which is also possible. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's scarier, it's more challenging. So if you start small, you still need to get some help. Don't do everything yourself. Don't create your website yourself. There is services for this. There is AI assistant for this. Don't, draw your logo yourself. There are services for this. So again, you need to get some help. Don't do everything by yourself. Otherwise, it's gonna take you like 2 lifetimes. You don't want that. Number 7 is actually the opposite side of doing everything yourself, is when you hire too soon or wrong people. A lot of entrepreneurs think, okay, I'm gonna start business and I'm gonna hire this and that, and I'm gonna have this money to cover this. But you don't know the return of it. You don't know when you're gonna start getting money, you're gonna start getting your return. Let's say you have some kind of budget to pay the salary to those people or to those services for, let's say, 3 months. And then what? You're gonna spend some time to get rolling. You're gonna spend some time to explain people, to train people, to walk them through everything that you need for a smooth transition into your company, and then you run out of money. Or you hire someone, and in a couple of months you realize that this person is not doing their job, or doing their job wrong, or they're coming from completely different background and they're just not capable to do what you hired them to do, and you wasted all this money for nothing. So that's why try to hire people as needed. Yes, hiring is very important, and you gotta hire people step by step. You gotta hire your personal assistant. I think this is the first move. But at the same time, think of who you hire and when you hire. So don't do it too soon. Number 8, this is my favorite, wasting money. A lot of very wealthy people and a lot of good entrepreneurs, they are saying, like, once you get your budget, your biggest goal is to try to save the money. The money always disappear. They tend to disappear. It's like an airplane landing on a ship. They're like touch and they go. Despite of you doing your budget really well, there is still gonna be some kind of unknown expenses, and your biggest goal is to try to save money. Don't be greedy. Try to plan ahead. Try to think what you invest your money in. Try to budget everything. But don't just buy things left and right. Don't hire people left and right. Don't buy all the equipment that you might possibly need one day. Just start small. Try to spend money as needed. This involves a lot of discipline. So be disciplined. Don't waste money. Number 9, give yourself wrong salary or don't pay yourself at all. This is also one of my problems, just because I thought, well, if I do something that's free, like I don't have to pay for it. Like I can hire someone, like I can use this money to buy something or to do something else. And at the end of the day, I found myself being completely burnt out because there was no reward and I was still struggling with money despite of having a successful business at some point. So that's why you've gotta evaluate your time. You've gotta evaluate how much your business can afford to pay you, and also you need to check with your state and you need to see what's the minimum wage and what's the minimum that you can pay yourself, because it's actually against the law paying yourself really small. There's ways to pay yourself. There is ways to pay the salary, or you get the portion of the company of dividends and like so on and so forth, but that's when you grow. Because a lot of big companies, they pay yourself like $1 in terms of money, but then they pay themselves with the company stocks. So this is a different story. At the beginning, you just need to pay yourself a certain amount that is not against the law in your particular state. Mistake number 10, under-evaluating your product or service. I had this particular problem and I was thinking, okay, that costs me like this much to make this soap and I'm gonna sell it for this plus $1. But I didn't take into consideration that there's gonna be a lot of overhead expenses that I didn't put into this cost of the product. And that situation got me in a big trouble with one of the retailers when I realized that I am making the products and I'm selling the products with the zero or like with negative return. That's why you need to evaluate your product yourself in the right way. You need to see what other people sell similar products for. You need to see what's the market is about, and you need to kind of estimate what would be a good value of the product. Sometimes if it's a unique product or service, you can set like really broad range of price, but don't put it too low, because like if it's gonna be a bare minimum, people tend to value it at the minimum. That's why the more you value your product, the more you're gonna give your customer this sense and this feeling that your product is worth a lot. Number 11, not setting up a marketing plan. Again, this was my biggest problem and I was avoiding it for so long. People who work with me, they're not gonna let me lie about it. My company grew too fast, too soon, and I was at the retailers right away. I was like, why would I need marketing? Like, I spent zero to get my products sold. And then at some point I realized that, yeah, I froze a lot of money and there is no constant return, and I can't steer the customers, or I can't control the bounce rate, I can't control the money in. I have to rely on the retailers to sell. And then I realized, okay, I got myself into this hole and I need to quickly figure it out. That's when I started doing marketing. That changed the situation a lot. So I strongly recommend, don't be like me. Try to avoid this gray hair, try to avoid this stress. Incorporate this marketing plan right away. Without marketing, there is no sales. The right marketing does not have to cost you an arm and a leg, but you still need to invest in it. And number 12, last but not least, one of the biggest mistakes is not doing a proper bookkeeping. This is a boring task. You need to keep all the expenses and all the money in, all the money out. You need to have at least some kind of spreadsheet, if not incorporating some kind of AI or some kind of tools like QuickBooks and other. So you need to track every single penny that's going out of your wallet or out of your bank account, and every single penny that's going in. You need to check the balances. You need to categorize every single expense. First, it's gonna give you an overview of what's going on with your finances. Second, you're not gonna have problems when you're gonna file taxes at the end of the year. And third, you're not gonna get in trouble if there's something wrong. And fourth, you're not gonna run out of money unexpectedly, because you would see what's going on. So yeah, bookkeeping, very important from day one. These were like 12 most common mistakes that beginner entrepreneurs do, that I did most of them. Please try to learn from those who already did that. Try to avoid these mistakes. I hope you found this video interesting and helpful. Please click like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.